just in the nick of time because, of course, COP26 in Glasgow in Scotland starts in a few days' time. At least 25,000 delegates flying to Glasgow for this big event. 120 world leaders expected to be there. And now Scott Morrison will be feted by Boris Johnson. Prince Charles will give him the most enormous hug. Sir David Attenborough will praise him to the rafters because Scott Morrison has decided that Australia should become a lot poorer. That Australia should close down many of its most important businesses, and that there'll be a really big transfer of money from the poor to the rich in Australia. Well done, Scott Morrison. Everybody should be thrilled.
Now, the British PM also, he's sort of trying to say, oh, it's touch and go, whether we'll get the right thing out of this and all the rest of it. Now, of course, China's not there, Russia's not there. I mean, we all know all of the, the big asterisks that come with all of this. But everyone's already coming with stated goals. No one's making their mind up in the room. You know that anyone in the room's going to agree to the headline 30 years away.
Yes, I mean, they'll come to an agreement and they'll say, because of what we've done, we guarantee that the temperature won't rise by more than 1.5 degrees. I mean, whether God's involved with this as well or not, I'm not sure, but I guess he must be. I mean, look, it is utterly ridiculous that they can say precisely that what we do will affect temperatures, negatively or positively. Look, we all want a better, cleaner, greener world, period. Of course we want that to be the case. But I just feel that the current level of alarmism, the current tax structures that are being put upon people, as I said already, the transference of money from ordinary people to rich globalist businesses that is going on in the name of all of this, and China, who produce 28% of global CO2 and are building 100 coal-fired power stations this year, won't be there, and nor will one of the world's biggest producers of natural gas in the shape of Russia. So, frankly, unless China, India and Russia do something, we are, with our populations and with what we produce, we are frankly whistling in the wind.
Just hearing the bill coming for you, mate. You're not allowed to speak truths, you remember? They'll shut you down, they'll cancel you. All right, now let's talk about Qatar in 2022. Now, we all know the types of things that get you cancelled from a job in the media, that make you unpalatable as a political citizen. But Qatar, of course, is hosting the the World Cup in 2022. Now, I say that the decent countries of the world should be boycotting because 4,000 workers have died building the very stadium that people will be going into. Their exploitation of workers from Nepal. I banged on about it for a long time and no one seems to care. But they are now starting to buy off global ambassadors. David Beckham gets his pound of flesh to back in this incredible event run by a country where not exactly would pass the Twitter test when it comes to homosexuality.
No, well, because the English Premier League is very much the dominant football league in the world. It's watched, globally by hundreds of millions of people, and it's been a resounding success, and I'm delighted with that. However, over the course of the last few years, it's become very political. So this summer, we've seen footballers wearing rainbow laces. We've had the England team taking the knee. All of these things are going on. And some of us have warned, just go and play football, England. Don't get involved in politics or it comes back to bite you on the behind. Just 10 days ago, a big Saudi Arabian company, backed by the state, have bought Newcastle United. And as you well know, in Saudi Arabia, minority rights aren't too strong. And now the biggest hypocrisy of all is that David Beckham, who has aligned himself with LGBTQ plus rights and called himself a feminist and done all these things, is happy to take the Qatar shilling to help promote the World Cup in a country where, well, you're quite right. For gay people, life is very difficult to even continue, and women have virtually no rights at all. And I think, for me, the moral of the story is when you're playing sport, whether it's cricket or rugby or Aussie rules or football or whatever it is, I think sports people should get out of political gestures, not engage at all. But given the Premier League stance on the Black Lives Matter movement and everything else, how on earth they can endorse sending an England team to Qatar, I simply don't know.
But again, the smallest of things that result in weeks and weeks and weeks of controversy that you'll talk about on GB News, we'll talk about here, all the sort of, the woke, the wokeistan that we all have to deal with all the time. Yet this will just sail through. There'll be no calls to go after the sponsors of the FIFA World Cup. There'll be no calls to ban this, that, and the other, because understandably, as we saw with the Euros, what it's like for a country to get close to a final, let alone in a final, it's this wonderful unifying thing, which is why these events shouldn't go to these countries.
No, listen, I absolutely agree with you, but they are going to go, and as you say, a criticism from the very same people that would like you and I cancelled, criticism of going to Qatar, there will be none. It is the classical rank hypocrisy of the globalist elites, I'm afraid, and it's not about to change anytime soon.